Hey, Brandon, it is all yours. You can take it away. You want me to make you a presenter?
Yes, please.
I will do that. I just did. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay. Alrighty. So let me pull up my documents. I'll exit out of this. Let's see here. So while I'm getting everything set up, some of this stuff may be very basic for some of you guys in the very beginning, and then once we actually get a little bit farther into it, you may find a lot of good information, or if you're just setting it up, you may find a lot of good information off the bat. Where is my present? Share content. Share screen. Okay, you guys can see my screen?
Yes, it is visible clearly.
Awesome. Okay, so most of you guys have seen my profile now. Right now, I'm just in the profile and edit profile tab. So that gives me all the um, little options. Actually, it's not even giving me that option yet. My computer's slow, so bear with me. Here we go. Okay, so for those of you, I still haven't emailed it out to everyone yet, but this is kind of just the generic speaking points that I use for the class. So we've already gone over the picture itself, but I mean, the picture itself is very essential. So you need to, excuse me, uh, make sure that you have a professional looking photo. Either, Nilesh said he would possibly bring in his camera. We just need to figure out what day, and everyone can dress up either in suit and tie. And I'll probably change out my photo too because mine's a little casual. Um, but it's very important because this is the first time people see you online. And recruiters, hiring managers, they will, look at your LinkedIn profile. They will kind of see your online presence. So when they see this, it's going to be their first impression of you. So they're going to see that. And, if you're in just, your military uniform, where you're just in, kind of, regular t-shirt and jeans, that's how they're going to view you. And because this is your professional online presence. So it's very, very important. And like I was speaking in class, you want to be looking straight ahead or to your left, so that way you're looking at your profile. And actually, technically, my body is facing the wrong way if you look at my photo, because I'm kind of facing, my body's pointing away from the contact, but it's not that bad because I'm still looking straight ahead. Um, but I will eventually redo my photo. So there's a moving on. Your We'll just actually go straight down the list. So all of your data right here, your name, your your title, your location, all this is editable. And normally, if you have any credentialing, like mine, my big thing is my CISSP because it's a high level security certification. It's very hard to achieve, so I'm very proud of it. And a lot of times you can come back and you see all these people with the alphabet soup after their name, their MBA, their PhD, uh, PMP, CISSP, stuff like that. Um, so all they do is just come up here on their name and just type out whatever it is, uh, stuff like that. So we'll do save. And then now that's how you get the alphabet soup. Jeez, really? I hope it didn't kick me out. Okay,
Hey,
so now
Brandon.
you can see.
Hey, Brandon,
Yeah,
just one quick comment here, if you don't mind.
yeah,
There is a way to not expose the changes you're making, just like you did, CISSP and MBA, somewhere on the,
yes,
yeah, make sure you
it's
do
right here.
not notify. That's a critical thing. Otherwise, everybody will get like push notifications or some indication that you were modifying your profile. You're trying to, hide it all as you're editing it. Brandon has already hidden that, and he's highlighting the
Yes.
segment, which is very important to take note of to begin with as you begin editing your profile, is to not notify, do not notify your changes.
Yes, and that's actually one of the things I cover in the settings portion. But yes, thank you, Nilesh. That is very important. So whenever you're making massive changes to your profile, either you're completely redoing it, you're changing any information, stuff like anything big, except maybe you're adding a new job that you just got promoted for, or you just got hired out of the military, something like that. Then yeah, by all means, publish it to your network so you get all those little kudos and congrats. But if you're making massive changes to update your profile completely to make it better, stuff like that, don't go. Make sure you turn off so you're not publishing, that you're changing everything. A lot of people kind of get weary when you're going through and revamping your entire profile, thinking recruiters and hiring managers could view it as, you're putting out false information because you've changed so much. But so for this right here, it's called your headline. And if you don't put anything in it, it will automatically auto-generate with whatever your current job title is. So for a while, I had a couple of different things. I had, transitioning service or, service member seeking ... And really didn't get a whole lot of hits off that. So I went through and started changing it. And after I had my profile written, oh, and by the way, just to let everyone know, I did not write the information within my summary or my experience. I actually had a company write my profile for me. I am one of the worst people when it comes to writing about themselves and stuff like that. And if you are similar, I highly recommend it. I spent like $85, I think, and they went through and they were able, I gave them all the information. But they are able to objectively write about you and highlight your achievements and accomplishments and stuff like that. And I'm just horrible at stuff like that. So as you can see right here, I've just got my current job title because I'm not really seeking anything right now. And I've got my clearance level, my certification. Next spring when I finish my MBA, I'll put my MBA in there. But I used to have kind of a long slew of things. And I used to say stuff like information technology champion, process optimizer, all kinds of little buzzwords, keywords. And so many people told me to clean it up because it was just, they had no idea what I was looking for. So in your headline, you kind of want to be specific. And you can put that, what type of position you're seeking, or put the job title that you're seeking. And then if you do have any certifications or any, that's when you'll, put that up here. So if you have a clearance, put it up there, because a lot of companies like it, and some jobs will actually prefer it if you get with Amazon or other companies like that. So that is that. Now your location really doesn't matter.
Hey, one quick comment on this headline tag.
Yep.
In here, you would rather not make yourself indicate as available. Because a quick summary is if you show that you are eligible bachelor, that's a problem. People, you will not get dates because you're indicating your eligibility or availability. In this headline, I would not indicate that I'm looking for a job or looking for something. Instead, I will show what I can do. And then people, if there is a
Yes.
match, people will look for me. And that's a
Yeah.
subtle thing that you do not want to say that, hey, I'm unemployed, I want a job, I need a job badly. That's the message. It's a very subtlety of message. You don't want to actually say that I need a job here in this headline because this is the only thing probably people will see about you. So you want to show that I can do XYZ, I have these skills, I have these certifications, And somewhere else down below, we'll talk about how to indicate whether you're available or not for a job, but not in this headline. That's my take.
Now,
Of course, you have your, many people think
the
differently,
only
but
thing with that is I had it that way where I just listed my job title, listed my skills, stuff like that. Uh, but after going out to a lot of groups and, with hiring managers, HR people, recruiters, after having them review my profile, they actually told me to put in there that I was seeking this, so people knew it. Because, and I got a lot more hits when I when it was relevant and very obvious that I was seeking. I didn't put down anything unemployed. I just put down seeking new opportunities as XYZ, stuff like that. So people knew that I was looking, especially for people within my network. Uh, and I got a lot more results out of it that way. Well, I mean, for my network,
uh,
especially.
I think I agree. This is a very subjective topic, and I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm not, saying that this is the right way or the wrong way because it's very subjective. It's
Yeah.
what you think is right. The way to think about this aspect is
Oh, it's very subjective.
to not show desperation, to not show anything that shows that you really, really need a job, otherwise it will be difficult.
Oh, no.
That's not what you want to show. So people say sometimes things that indicate desperation. I think you want to hide that in the headline. That's the key summary as I see it.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely don't want to show any form of desperation. I mean, if you go in thinking you have to, when you go in and you're actually talking with someone, is highlighting your skills, showing of what value you can be to them, and that's it. If they choose you, great. If they don't, oh well, it's their loss. Another company will want you. Another company will, benefit from your experience, your services, uh,
Makes sense?
stuff. Now, right under your picture, um, this is this to your profile, and it's actually customized. If you haven't done it before, you'll see a whole bunch of numbers and a whole bunch of crap, and you can actually shorten it out and create your own URL for your LinkedIn profile. It's always going to be linkedin.com /in/ and then whatever you put afterwards, that's your tag. So I just put my full name with CISSP because for the most part I always had CISSP after my last name. So you can just come in here, click edit, and once it actually pulls up, and you can customize it to, oh, well, I've already customized it. So here we go. Customize your public URL. So you just come right here and you can change it out to, now of course, people have one, so it'll tell you whether or not that it's available. But once you do that, it's a lot easier to put it on your business cards, to resume, because it's more personalized. It's set up for you. So it makes it very easy for people to find you on LinkedIn, stuff like that. Let's go here, profile. And then, let's see here. So another thing, your connections is very important. There's kind of two schools of thought on how many connections you should have. One, a lot of people believe that open networking and having as many people as possible from every different industry, every different level of walk, from some entry level, college graduate to, you can get, whatever within your network. And the idea is that, you can not influence, but reach out and connect with and talk with everyone in your network. And the more people you can reach, the better chances you have of, securing employment or, being able to get into a certain company, stuff like that. And now the other thought is keeping your network to only people that you truly know and that you are able to reach out at the end of the day and call them so I personally go with more open networking, so that way I can connect with more people and stuff like that. Now, most of the time when I connect with people, if I don't know them personally, I will almost always send them a connection email after they, invite me to connect. I'll look at their profile, see, what we have in common, like that. Most of the time, it's military hiring manager, or not hiring managers, but recruiters, HR people. I'll send them a link saying, "Hey, thanks for the connection request. Um, I enjoy your experience and stuff," and trying to, build a relationship with them because you're networking with them. So it's the best way that I found to network with people. When you connect with them. One of the threads where you can about 400 people that will just allow you to connect with them and not spam whenever you try and connect with them. So the next area of topic is your summary. So, as you can see here, it almost kind of looks like a very long resume summary or stuff like that. So up here, I should take this down because I'm no longer looking for that. But while I was looking for work, a couple of other people actually, when I asked for profile critique, and they wrote it up and said, here, you need to clearly state what you are looking for so people know and people can help you. So it kind of goes against the thoughts that kind of Nilesh and a lot of other people have of, don't act like you're looking for work while you are. So it's kind of up to you how you want to do it. I found really stated what kind of stuff I was looking for. People were more selective in contacting me on LinkedIn for different jobs. Some that just your skills, stuff like that. As you can see, I've what I have written down, or what I had written for me, so to speak, is it's not very long. It just highlights kind of my most prominent IT skills, stuff like that, kind of overview. And then right underneath it, I talk about some of my achievements and some of the things that I've done, to improve processes or improve efficiency, stuff like that. So, and then right underneath of it, in my specialties, this is my keyword buzzword section. So the way recruiters do it is they will sit through, and I'll show you later when we go to search for jobs or search for people, you can enter keywords. And most recruiters will search by keywords, specific things that are special or specific to the job that they're trying to, hire for. So when you have all these keywords within your profile that are evident, and don't just throw every keyword you can think of in here, make sure that you can, back it up within your profile by stating, yes, I, use CISSP, XYZ. What's the next one? Information assurance. That was actually one of my job titles. Well, part of it. So, you need to make sure that you can actually show it in your profile, because if all they can do is find it in your, specialty or your buzzword area, they're just going to skip right over your profile. They're going to view it as, well, he's just trying to attract people. So you want to make sure you get the right buzzwords. And when we're actually looking at jobs, I'll show you, as long as you have your premium account, you'll be able to see what keywords that employers are looking for different jobs. And that way you can make sure that they're in your profile, and you can make sure that, they're on your resume. and stuff like that. So next is experience. Pay no attention to my application analyst one because I haven't done anything with it. I need to actually sit down and fill that out, but I don't have any achievements or any highlight points yet since I've only been there about 2 months. But so you want to have it's a little bit easier for IT folks because our job titles are kind of universal. Now, I didn't put down my MOS, I didn't put down anything like that. I put down what my job title is. So for the most part, I was the help desk, and I also kind of dual hatted as the senior IT analyst. So if, say, for instance, you were, supply or something like that, and you had a different, job title. So what you want to do is you want to put down whatever the civilian job title is first, and then in parentheses after it, put down your military job title. So that way, if a a veteran recruiter, sees your profile, they know exactly what that military term is. But if it's a civilian recruiter or a non-government contracting agency, stuff like that, they have no idea what your military job title means, but they know that civilian one. So you want to make sure that you closely match it up with what the two are. And then really you want to have kind of a brief blurb about what your job duties entailed, and then underneath kind of put out what accomplishments or what achievements, stuff like that, how you make value. And the biggest thing is with your LinkedIn profile, your resume, everything, it needs to be very similar, and kind of keep sending the same message that you need to be able to prove your value. So the biggest thing is, and civilians love to see numbers. They want to see that quantifiable number. So you can see 3,000, $100,000 in projects, 90%, and stuff like that. So it's very important to civilian recruiters. Excuse me, sorry. For stuff like that. And then secondly, recommendations. These are essential. Basically, think of it in the old school of thought that you'd build up, your resume better, and then you would have letters of recommendations from bosses, from other people throughout your organization that you worked for that kind of vouch for your work ethic, your all of your achievements, stuff like that. Now, this is the digital online version. So my rule of thumb is at least 3 recommendations across the board. You're better off if you can get at least 2 for every job you've held. So that way they can see, a wide array of people are vouching for your work and saying, hey, yeah, this guy does great work. He was my go-to guy. He was the most knowledgeable, whatever the recommendations. But it shows to everyone else that really doesn't know you that, yes, you are what you say you are, and possibly even better, because a lot of people will paint you in a very good light. So kind of think of it as the military assessment. You want to do a full 360 degrees. You want to do, of course, your leadership, that are ask them, who's willing to give you a recommendation on LinkedIn. You want to go with your peers, and then you also want to ask your subordinates, because you want to be able to show them, kind of a full circle of you. So you were a great employee, from your boss. Your peers say that you were great to work with, and you always made the office enjoyable, or something to that degree. And then your employees, yeah, you were a great leader. You always made sure that they had what they needed to complete the mission, or stuff like that. So, but at least have at least your boss at a minimum, and colleagues on there. Employees, it's not going to hurt you, but you really do need to have at least the boss and colleagues. So you can see that I follow the same format for this job. And now at any time, guys, if you have specific questions, stop me. So that way we don't forget anything, or if you have something that's just really bugging you or you want to ask something, speak up. I have no problem stopping, answering questions, stuff like that. Now, certifications within the IT world, I mean, we all know the IT certifications. They play a big part because employers like to see that you've got the certification to prove that you at least know the baseline of whatever technology or whatever field. But only put them on there if they are relevant to your industry or to your job. I've looked at some military profiles and they've got certifications for combatives. They've got combat lifesaver. They've got, food handlers course, stuff like that. And I mean, that has no place on your profile unless you are going for, something specific that specifically relates to your field. Now, I mean, if you're a medic and you're actually going for like an RM job, or you're going for, certified nurses assistant, CNA, something like that, then yeah, by all means, throw down your combat lifesavers. It's in that field. But if you're going for IT, you have no reason to put down combat lifesaver, combatives, or food handler safety course. It's not relevant. And view your profile and your resume as prime real estate. I mean, you want to be able to convey all of your information in the shortest space possible while communicating clearly and concisely about yourself. So now skills, and this is one of the other things. These are going to be your buzzwords as well. So, but this is where people will say, yes, he knows about this and stuff like that. Now, be very careful about what you put down for your skills. You want to be truthful about, stuff and every now and then LinkedIn will recommend skills for your profile based on what you have in it, and it'll actually ask other people to recommend you for stuff you haven't even typed up, just based off your profile. So, quick little story. I was reading an article, and one of the recruiters basically said, I wonder how many people I can get to qualify me for a false skill that was just blatantly false. So she chose koala bear trainer. She typed it up, put it in her profile. And of course, she had thousands of connections, lots of people that, were connected with her. And within a matter of a couple of weeks, she was maxed out at the 99 or, whatever people had recommended her for training koala bears. She had never, touched one in her life. She'd never, played with one, nothing. But people will blindly recommend you for whatever pops up in LinkedIn majority of the time. So you have to be careful what you put in there, and you only want to put down skills that are relevant to your job field and specifically to the job you are seeking. So I've kind of gone through and cleaned up a lot of mine. I used to have a lot of, like here you go. You see military training, dependable team player, success driven. I mean, really, those have nothing to do with the IT field. They were ones that, people had clicked on, and so they got and LinkedIn asked me if I wanted to put them in there. I said, why not? But it does nothing for me. It doesn't, convey any of my skills or anything like that in the IT world. So, here's all of them. You only get, I want to say it's either 40 or 50 keywords, skills. So make sure you choose them wisely and once we get into the jobs, it'll actually show you where, if you don't know what skills to add, or you can't think of any more to add, I'll show you where to find them in the Insights tab for the employment, to kind of help you and make sure that you have the right buzzwords for your job or for the industry that you're seeking. Next, your education. So you want to put down all of your schooling that you've had. I mean, you can see my MBA, my BS degree, and then now Cloud Genius. So most of you have seen this from when we were sitting in class on Tuesday. Um, if it's relevant, same way with your certifications. If it is relevant to your job, your industry, put it in there for extra training outside of your degrees. Now, if your degree's in liberal arts or in business and you're going for IT, still list it. It's a college degree, and it's a lot of times it's going to be a requirement for most of the jobs. So um, now if it's a technology degree and it's more than some people have different rule of thumbs, anywhere from 5 years to 10 years. If it's older than that 5-year mark or 10-year mark, remove the date of graduation from it, because a lot of times it's true, technology has changed over the last 5 to 10 years, and what you learned in school most of the time is kind of irrelevant now. Yeah, I finally got it out. So it really depends on if you're still working in the field, if you're not working in the field. There's a lot of factors that play into it, but best bet, just list that you have it. You can get rid of the date, not worry about it. Now, for other programs and little training programs that you go through, such as Cloud Genius, or maybe you did a Security Plus or CCNA, certification course, stuff like that. You can list those, but only list them if they're relevant. Some of the officers in the class, if you went to Captain's Career Course, if you went to the other leadership schools, and the same with NCOs, take those and change it, find a civilian term for it, and there's a lot of them on the internet that will give you a good correlation for entry level management training, and then you can put down BNOC, and then for advanced leadership course stuff, you can put down like executive leadership course, and then put down ANOC, or same thing with Captain's Career Courses, and you can put down a little bit about the course, kind of give it a good overview, 1 or 2 line overview, just saying developed such and such skills, or worked on such and such skills, that so they know what it is, and they can see that you've had a lot of leadership training to kind of really help sell that piece. Now down here, I really don't fill out any of my interest or my personal details. I really don't see it as relevant, but a lot of people will kind of throw in and be able to search by, oh, you like kayaking, hiking, stuff like that. But always have a way for recruiters to contact you. It's very important that you at least have your email down there, which I actually need to change that out and put my my private domain down there to make it look more professional. But have your phone number or have your email so that recruiters can contact you, so that they're just not looking at your profile and not knowing how to connect you besides sending you an email on LinkedIn that you might not get for a week, and then that job opportunity is null and void now. Let's see here. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I have a question, which is if you do not have premium profile enabled, then you cannot put that circuit board diagram background picture that you have, which
Yeah,
means
if you don't,
that's the thing that I think it'll be good to point out that you should also give out a link so that all the armed forces personnel here can get a year of premium for free. So tell us, how do you get that?
Alrighty, I'll show you right now. So you're going to go to Google. So you're going to go just Google LI Job Seeker. You don't even have to do the subscription, but literally, it's a LinkedIn group for veterans, and it will automatically join you to Veterans Mentor Network, which is an awesome group. A lot of great people are willing to help you out. So literally, you just click on this, and it will bring you to that group. And because I'm already a member, it right here, instead of member, it'll say join. So you'll just join the group, and then as long as you clearly display that you are in the military, either active duty or veteran, they will go through, view your profile, and as long as it clearly shows, they will approve you normally in 2 to 3 days group, and they will send you an email with all the information to upgrade your account. Now, from my understanding, from the last class that I spoke to for Northwest Edge, one of the members, actually more than one of them, probably about 4 or 5 of them, stated that yes, it does ask for a credit card now, but that is for your renewal. Your first year is completely free. So, put in your credit card information, and then 5 days later, you can cancel your premium membership, and you'll get your, premium benefits for the full year, and it just won't auto renew. And it'll tell you exactly when they expire and all of that when you go to cancel it. So just read, make sure it's correct, and then you'll be good, and you won't get charged the 100, 200, whatever. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. What is this? Diego viewed my profile. What do you call it? And that's another important feature, viewing or looking at who viewed your profile. So as long as you do have a premium membership, you can come down here to the who's viewed my profile, and it will give you a very good insight. Now, a lot of times, like this person right here, they chose to stay anonymous. So most of the time, those are going to be hiring managers, recruiters, and I'll show you how to set your profile to how to set it to anonymous so people can't see you when you're looking at them. But another couple great things is when you get the statistics bar. So you get to see how many people have looked at your profile from this date to this date, and it gives you a percentage change and everything. So kind of going down the board, and this will be very helpful for when you make changes. Say you completely redo your summary, you add all these buzzwords, you leave it for a week, and watch how many more people are coming to view your profile, because that's what's going to tell you if your changes are successful and if they're making a difference. If you don't get any uptake in people coming to view your profile, especially not your friends from class, then you need to go through and re-look at it and see about, okay, well, maybe I'm missing some keywords, stuff like that. Every day recruiters are on here looking for people. So the more views you get, the more successful you're going to be, in your transition, because more people are finding you and more people are, seeing your name, seeing your experience, stuff like that. So, you can kind of see, 11 people, 6 people, jumped down to 5, 3, 29, and then I went up to 144 views in a matter of 6 days. So it's all depending on, then I went back down to 23. I don't remember what we were doing. I can't remember if I was given a class or something. But yeah, I haven't done any real big changes to my profile except to add my new job. So I normally don't track this very much, but I do come and look at who's viewed my profile, because one, most of the time, if they're not a connection and they're viewing my profile, I'll go take a look at their profile and then connect with them. So a lot of times, yeah. let's see here. Yeah, and then you can see, this person was anonymous. So, okay, like these three people. Actually, no, she's a connection. But these two people, I would go through, look at their profile, see if they would be relevant to my network, relevant to my job search, XYZ. And if they were, I'd reach out to them, connect with them, and then start building a relationship with them by sending emails, stuff like that. Yeah. So it's one of the nice premium memberships that you are allowed to see, who viewed your profile for the full last 90 days. And then you can also go down here and it'll show you where they found you. So let's see, two people clicked on my name out of the inbox. I sent them a message. Cloud Genius. Yeah. Somebody there?
Yes, I'm here. And I'm
Oh, okay. I heard someone start talking.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's get into jobs. Let me pull up my little notes, make sure I didn't skip over anything important. So, brief experience, endorsement, recommendations. So, yeah. So one thing definitely do want to highlight: make sure that you are asking for recommendations once you build out your profile, and do it in little spurts. Don't go out and request 20 people to recommend you in one day. It just kind of looks fishy. So just over the course of a couple of weeks, send out 3 or 4, every week. You can do it, request 4 or 5, 3 or 4 on the same day, and most likely none of them will all do it on the same day. But just kind of over the course of a couple of weeks, request 2, 3, 4 people to give you a recommendation, and slowly build up your recommendations, saying that, yeah, this person is great, and they've got great value, all that stuff. So that way you can show your value to other people, and you're not just standing there bragging about yourself, but other people are bragging for you. So one of the great features of premium, your job activity is private. Let's see here. So let's find one of the ones that I know that's been around for a while. So after 10 people have applied for a job, oh, here you go. Information security analyst, cloud in Seattle. I don't think this one's been around for a while, but perfect. So if you look at this is one of the premium benefits, and this right here, you get the estimated salary range for this job, and it goes by the location. So if this job was down in San Francisco, it'd be completely different. But it gives you the low and the high and kind of an average of where you might be if you're in the middle of your career. Now, if you're just starting out, like most of us, for this cloud computing, you'd be down here on the lower end. But this should give you confidence when you're talking to a recruiter about what kind of wages you expect. So you can combine this with Glassdoor.com, salaries.com, and really get, a good idea. So you're not given, yeah, I want that 107,000 when, it's not even in your experience range. So, but truly right here, once you have more than 10 applications for a job on LinkedIn, by people clicking apply now and going to the company website to apply, you get this great insights tab. So it tells you exactly how many people applied on what day. So that way, yeah, there's a huge rush of applicants on the first day. So most likely they're, really got their prime candidates out of that first couple of days, where they've got, 10 applications out of that, first 4 days or whatever. And then also seniority. So it'll tell you exactly what caliber of people are applying for this job. So it looks like a lot of people are either entry or senior analysts, but there's no managers, directors, VPs, or CXOs. I've had a lot of kind of entry level management or senior level tech positions that will show director and VPs applying for it. Now, of course, they really won't get the job just because, I mean, they're way over qualified, but if that truly is their level. Now, another great thing is this network size of the company. So you just kind of highlight over it and it will show you every single one of your connections that you have at this company or that are connected with this company in some way. So it tells me I have a great advantage over everyone else because other applicants only know one person. I know 6 people at this company. So your attempts there, you'd want to, reach out to several of those individuals and say, hey, what can you tell me about this job? How about we sit down for a cup of coffee? So, I'd love to find out more about, your company culture or, the ins and outs of this position, stuff like that, and build up that uh, activity. And so that way you have that employee referral um, within the company.
And I think this premium thing is much better. I do not have premium myself, but I know I have used it in long while ago. I think they have further revamped the capabilities of how you get insights into a particular job opportunity that you're looking at. For example,
Oh
this
yeah.
this cool thing that you just showed about 6 people you know in that company as opposed to other people who only know one is a critical thing. You need to reach out to those 6 immediately if you're interested in the job opportunity and contact them, as you said, for coffee, meet them, understand them. Understand from insider's perspective is a completely different game altogether than looking at LinkedIn and job postings. Insiders will tell you a whole lot of information about how the manager is, how the other team members are, how are they working, why did the previous guy leave, if there was a person before you, and the job opportunity, what does it entail, how much work is the work, how much work is fun, and what's the growth opportunities in that particular position, how is the company growing, is it shrinking, is it going to a disaster, or is it going to be a really growth opportunity for that company as a whole in which you also went to you also stand to gain. So all these things that are very subtle but critically important can only be made visible, and you can become aware of that only if you reach out to those 6 people that you seem to already connect directly, offer them coffee, just send out messages, reach out to them if you know them, and connect with them. Show your interest. I think expression of interest is the single biggest factor that runs in your favor. If you show that you are interested in that company, and you can say that do not claim that you absolutely yes want to join no matter what, but only hint that you may be interested in that opportunity, and keep learning about that company from multiple sources, specifically from the insiders. The more you know about that company from the inside, the better, easier it becomes for you to actually land that opportunity on your hand, on your plate. So these tools are really useful. Find a way to get the insider premium method that you already have through the LI membership that that Brandon just called out. And I think I'm liking this premium thing very much. I was not aware of it as to new capabilities that you have incorporated. LinkedIn has incorporated. Looks pretty decent, pretty useful for me. I mean, for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. For job seekers, this is, you know, critical. It gives you inside information to, who works there, who there. And then also, every time I talked about, your skills, your buzzwords, stuff like that, this is where that comes from. So every job that has more than 10 people apply, they have specific buzzwords or skills that they are looking for to be able to do this job. So most of the time, I've come through all of these and started looking at them. I don't know why I don't have Microsoft Excel in my profile or management, but regardless, or information security. I should have that. Um, you know, start looking through 10, 20 of these jobs and write down all the ones that, you truly have and that are real. Don't really go fibbing, because it'll be evident in the interview when you're trying to discuss, information security and, you really have no idea about it. Uh, they'll figure it out. and they'll just excuse you from the interview and everything, it's over from there. But go through, find the ones that are relevant to you, that, you can honestly say, yes, I have these skills, I have this knowledge. Write them down and find the common theme out of all the similar job postings and start putting them on your profile. And that will greatly improve, one, the views that you have and the chances that you have when you're applying for these types of positions later down the road after people endorse you for them and stuff like that, and that they're built into your profile. So, and another great thing is, you see up here, based on your LinkedIn profile, you would be in the top 25% of applicants for this job. So now this isn't always 100% accurate, but it's a fairly good indicator based on my education, based on the keywords in my profile, based on, the type of job titles that I had. They actually do a fairly good job. So it tells me that, yes, I would be very competitive for this job should I apply based on my experience. So, and then once you get all those skills down, I mean, really look at 20, 30, 40 jobs that are all similar, and they don't have to be in the Seattle area. I mean, you're just looking for these skills. So you're looking for any job that's out there that has more than 10 applications with the similar job title, or, that are very similar to each other, or other jobs that you're looking at, and get all these keywords, write them down, find the common themes, and start plugging them into your profile. It's very important. And then next, it shows you what level of education that all the competitors have. So 44% have a bachelor's degree, 25% have a master's, and only 13% have an MBA degree. So, and then 18% have others. So it's might be a associate's degree, might be a technical degree, something that's, not recognized in one of these three categories. And then it kind of tells you their top fields of study. So we got information science, information technology, electrical communications and engineering. Oh, wow. So stuff like that. And that's going to be very, very helpful to show you, where you're going to be at, and help you really set up your profile to make sure that these recruiters and these hiring managers, see your profile and view you as the perfect candidate. That's what this is all about, is making sure that they see you as the perfect candidate for their job, for their company, whatever the case may be. Let's see here. So, and then when you're looking for specific jobs, okay, you can look for companies, groups, all of that. Now, once you have the premium account, you get a couple more search fields with this advanced tab. Now, when I was really looking for a position, oh geez, yeah, my computer's dorking out on me. I went in and actually looked for recruiter or talent sourcer as keywords for within people's profiles, and I literally went down the line and started connecting with all kinds of, here we go, so keywords. So, and then and I would look for specific companies. I was looking at Microsoft, Amazon, stuff like that. And I mean, you can look, Microsoft. And this will help you if you apply for a job, within Microsoft, and you're trying to find the recruiter or, the person for that different division or that group. Look at this. So, current, we got a technical sourcing recruiter at Microsoft, Greater Seattle area. Okay, operations systems group at Microsoft. So, you can find what areas they work in by looking at their profiles. And if they're, in the right area, reach out to them. Say, hey, I applied for, this job. Love to learn more about it, X, Y, Z. and kind of build a relationship, with that person and put a face to your name or a face to your resume instead of it just going in the black hole and never hearing about it again. So it's a great way to kind of look for people, find people, stuff. Let's see here. Alrighty. So now, do you guys have any specific questions or?
No, it's really good class. I'm actually working on my LinkedIn as you're speaking.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I think it was very useful in terms of, especially I like the view in that you get in premium subscription that I've never seen in the last few years, which was nice to see the abilities and capabilities that LinkedIn provides. One quick word of caution, of course, is that if you are using a particular company that does not use LinkedIn for jobs, they'll probably ask you to go to their website and apply it on their website, which is very true in many companies. Then all these insights that you see in LinkedIn as to who others know, who else, and how is your network connection better than other people's, and how is your profile matching the other people's profiles who applied, may not be relevant. But when it does, that's a value. So when it is all within LinkedIn's control, they will be able to show you better insights, better analytics, and give you a little bit more information than otherwise possible. But say, for example, in Microsoft, they will ask you to go to careers.microsoft.com and apply there, which becomes, technically impossible for LinkedIn to go and find out who actually applied on Microsoft's job portal.
Yeah.
So companies,
Now, and
go ahead.
now for that, if they actually have the job posted on LinkedIn, but it links back to the company website, the way that they will track it is by who clicks on the apply button. So, I mean, yeah, it'll kick you back to that company website, but as long as that job is posted on LinkedIn, it'll give you that insight information. It's only when you find the job on Microsoft career site or on Indeed or dice.com, um, that's when you're really not going to get that insight. But if, even though you can't apply with your LinkedIn profile or, it kicks you back to the company website, 99% of that time you will still get that insight information.
So what you miss out is people who directly go to Microsoft from other places. You have no
Yes,
idea,
yes.
right? So that
So
part,
yeah, of course.
that is the blinding portion. It's like you will not be able to see that portion through LinkedIn. So there's one more question from Ken. Will a premium account really get pushed more? No, that is not true. All it gets you is the insight in analytics
Uh,
and connections and network and connection to people, finding out a little bit better than others as to what is going on. So you can position yourself better, but it is not going to, it's not like you pay to get a job. It's not like that. No.
no, the biggest benefits of your premium account are one, you get that insights. So you're going to have, more detailed information, help you better plug in your skills, your experience, stuff like that, that truly match the kind of jobs that you're looking for. And then also it's going to allow you to connect to other people that are outside of your first and second degree networks. Um, so say you find a recruiter that you have no connections with, you don't have any second connections with them, but yeah, you want to connect with them and you want to send them that email saying, hey, I submitted this resume, blah blah blah. You can simply click connect with them, and most of the time you don't have to qualify yourself by knowing their email address or having a group in common with them, um, stuff like that. So that's one of the big advantages, um, that really helps with the LinkedIn Premium.
And so now I will give an example of when you're not connected in LinkedIn Premium, you just have a plain old account. In that case, you can still reach out to the other person by a different method that I will like to demonstrate. I think I already
Going
did.
through groups.
through groups. So you should, if you don't want to pay, and if for some reason you do not get connected through the premium, you can still reach out to whoever you feel like. By, let's say, I don't know this guy Abhishek Gupta, and I'm not connected with him, but he seems to be at this Turner Construction Company. So I'm going to look for his group memberships and see which groups he belongs. So either I can go from looking at his name, scrolling down, and finding out which groups he belongs to, and apparently he doesn't even have groups. Oh, maybe there are. Yeah. So let's see if I have a common group. And yeah, there it is. This is the group Harvard Business Review membership. He is a common member between me and him. So I'm going to go look at his name, copy it, go back to that group there where I have common membership with him. And let me scroll to that group location. Yeah, there it is. So I'm going to go to that group. And in that group, I will look for this gentleman again. But this time through the group. So I will now look for members. And in there, I'll look for a search box. And in that search box, I'll try to see if I can search that gentleman, Abhishek Gupta. And when he shows up, that one, the second one is what I was looking for. So I will go look at that person and have him, send him a message like that here through this button, click. And here I can just send him a message even if I'm not connected to him. And so I can say something like, meet for coffee. And hey, Abhishek, we seem to know something common. Bring a common thread, begin that discussion, and offer coffee, and see how he responds. And just keep it short. Make sure it fits only then in that like few lines. Pretty much. In the segment of whatever we see in this blue box is what it should fit in. And if it fits, I think somebody will read that message. Our goal is to make them read the message. And when we send that message, it'll go to that guy, even if we are not directly connected, like I'm not. But I can still reach out to him through this group. A group is that we have in common is this HBR group. And so I can, even if I'm not connected to him, I can still reach out to him. The other LinkedIn recommended method, which costs money, is to click on this button called send in mail. This in mail is not free. And they'll ask you to upgrade your account. And I'm not upgraded, I'm not premium, but I know how to work around it, which I just told you. Even if you do not get premium, it's a good way to just connect and find out. So that's a way to connect it, even if you do not have premium membership.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one thing I just want to add about the groups that I really should have added during the little class. The groups are very essential in your transition and searching for a job or a good career. Now, there's so many different groups related to IT, related to security, related to whatever, different networking groups for Seattle. You should be joining as many groups as possible that are specific to your industry, that are specific to the area that you're in for your job, stuff like that, and be active in those groups. The whole thing behind that is when you are active in groups, you actually become a top contributor, and your picture will actually, as long as you keep staying active, your picture will actually stay up in the top right-hand corner of that group page. So, if you go to, if you want to go to Northwest Edge, Nilesh,
yeah, I will do
you'll
that.
actually
I was
see my
actually
picture.
looking for that. That's a good one. It's a very good point that you're bringing it up. Northwest Edge, you will see that Brandon's picture is visible right
Yeah,
there.
because I'm constantly in there, constantly updating information, stuff like that. So when you do this in, say a cloud computing group or an information, security group, whatever, your niche or whatever your area of expertise or, the area of your work is, you're constantly talking about topics and discussing, technology with people, or commenting on articles, or even, posting articles. Don't go crazy just posting random articles, because then people feel you're just spamming them. But if you actually have meaningful content and meaningful discussions with people, people get to know your name. They kind of, they start to know who you are. Your picture's constantly up in there. And don't kid yourself that whenever, recruiters are looking to fill, a cloud computing analyst role, they're going to go look in that cloud computing members group, and they're going to start looking through content. They're going to look, who's posting what, who actually is talking like they know what they're doing. And then they're going to reach out to that person, regardless whether it says that they're looking for a job or not, because they know that person, knows what they're talking about. So joining groups and being active in those groups is essential to your successful transition. All right, that's all I wanted to add, Nilesh.
Yep. So let's open for discussion. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let open microphones so people can talk freely as they want.
It's a quiet group today.
Hey, Daniel is singing. Daniel was singing there. So I kept him muted, but
It's America's Got Talent in here.
I guess so. So we have right now Vivek, Chad, Daniel, Diego, and Ken on the phone with Daniel singing. So open up for questions if you have, or we'll discuss something else if you want.
I got a
All right.
question.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's say I'm applying to big tech companies out here. This is Ken. Let's say I'm applying to Microsoft, Amazon, or Boeing. Is it a good idea to log in through LinkedIn? Because they give you the options. You can log in through Google, through Facebook, through LinkedIn. Is that a good idea to log in through your LinkedIn account?
Well, there's kind of two things behind it. One, a lot of jobs on LinkedIn will actually give you the option to log in or apply with your profile. Now, logging in with your LinkedIn account, the only thing it really does, one, it kind of links your LinkedIn account to your, career profile with Microsoft. And two, it'll help autofill some of your information. So it'll fill your name, it'll fill your email address, maybe your job titles and your little, just verbiage from your job description, stuff like that. So kind of creating a career site login with your LinkedIn isn't bad. But the other thought is some of the jobs that have where you can apply with your LinkedIn profile, unless your profile is specifically geared to that one job and only that one job, I do not recommend it, because you need to tailor your resumes and your cover letters to that one job, to where you only show that you are the perfect person, as much as you possibly can about that role, and that's what your experience has been leading up to, stuff like that, whereas your LinkedIn profile is more of a general overview of everything you've done.
So how many years back should I go on my work experience?
I would
Depends on how much you have, and I think it's okay to write, but keep shrinking as you go back in the history.
Yeah, I mean, don't have huge verbiage, huge summaries for, jobs that were, 8-10 years ago. I mean, kind of the rule of thumb with resumes is about 10 years. So, I mean, you can kind of stick with that unless it's, extremely relevant, other technology stuff, or maybe volunteer work, stuff like that. That that would be a good idea to have on there as well.
Thanks. Good answers.
Oh, thank you. Now, since a whole lot of people don't have questions, and we've only got a couple of you guys in here, now, how do you guys feel about your resumes and other like job search materials? Do you guys feel that you're having a lot of trouble with, you're not able to write about yourself, or something in those regards? Or do you feel that they're really good and you're ready to go tackle the job market when you're available?
I think that's the single biggest problem that people have, is to not able to write about yourself. And I think that can be broken by asking a friend to ask you questions that you answer, and have that friend write for you and you reciprocate for them. You know what I just said, Vivek? Vivek is asking this question about, I'm not able to write about myself, and that's a valid point. I don't blame you. I think
Yeah.
this self boasting is hard, and so it's better for maybe grab Arjun or grab Niku, or one of those that sit with you, speak the same language, and speak your mother tongue, your native tongue, and speak your mind, and let them hear what you're saying, and let them write it for you. Maybe write in Nepali first if you like, and then convert into English. That's okay. But I think the fundamental challenge that you seem to have, which I can relate to it. I used to have that also, is to not able to write about myself. I even have that problem even today. I don't write properly because I use other people as sounding boards, give them my ideas and have them write for me, is the way I overcome that. So find a friend, find a buddy, speak your mind about what you think you have done, and crystallize in terms of what I call STAR, or you heard me say that, like situation, task, action, and result. Crystallize your findings and create short little stories, and then write those stories in terms of bullet points. That's what I would say. So find a buddy, reciprocate for them, and do both of you can get that outcome of preparing stories that you can tell for every attribute that people look for a particular job opportunity. For every attribute, for every skill, you need to have stories. And when I say stories, what I really mean by a story is, remember that customer obsession story I told you about? The chauffeur driver in the car alerted that hotel in downtown Mumbai about the child crying. And it's a short little story. You need to prepare such stories for yourself, for your past work. And it doesn't have a Taj Mahal hotel, exactly. And so, uh, preparing these stories with help from a buddy in class or somewhere outside, just do that. It has to be done. There is no shortcut around it. Begin doing that right away, and maybe share with the class. The class will help you. All of us together in the classroom are essentially to help each other out, to make us look good and shine and get hired. That's our goal, right, Vivek? Sweet.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's
So
nail it. Next question we have is from Chad. Personally, and I assume others are going through the same issue. My main problem are, yes, to write about myself, but also translating military jargon and good description into something civilians understand. That is correct. And Vivek says, never thought of that way. I don't know what you mean by, are you referring to Chad or referring to something else? I do not understand, Vivek. But Chad, I think the same argument applies to you. Find a military buddy, find me, find a civilian, and just make them listen to your military stories. And I know I will not understand it to begin with, but that's okay. You have to keep explaining until I get it, and then have me write it for you, so that I'll give you the civilian perspective of your military stories. And so you need to find somebody who's able to patiently listen to whatever you're saying. And I meant asking a friend to tell me about myself. Exactly. Figure it out. Break that barrier. The mental barrier is essentially about us writing about ourselves. In Asian cultures, it is hard, even harder, to write about yourself, because it's bragging essentially, and that bragging is considered to be bad in some cultures, especially in India, right? You don't talk about yourself, you don't brag who you are, even if you're the best. But it's blatantly done in Western cultures, and so so it's okay to brag and have somebody else brag on your behalf. And yes, I know Nepal is very much culturally similar to India. It's the same people. So
Okay.
yep. And
If I could add one thing, Nalish. Now, now I know a lot of people have issues writing about themselves, and especially translating all the military, especially all the acronyms, the jargon, as you mentioned, Chad. Um, Now, within the IT world, it's a little bit easier, but it's still very hard because the way that the military does stuff with technology, or nobody understands what NIPRNet is, nobody understands what SIPRNet is, or a Snap terminal or stuff like that. So there's still a lot of stuff that you have to overcome, even though it's one of the easier groups. Now I know not everyone in the class is IT, or it's 25 series, um, either way, but when you're sitting in all these, your TAP classes and stuff like that, they tell you, oh, go to ONET, go to all this other. No, those are very, very limited in their helpfulness. I mean, they're going to give you general descriptions of your job duties and what it might relate to in the civilian role. Your best bet is going to come from your informational interviews that you do with other tech tech people in the civilian world. So either find um, people that other veterans who've transitioned that are in the tech world. You can come talk with me. I'll give you the best that I can, or reach out to other veterans that are in the tech world, or even when you start doing informational interviews, when you're at that point in your transition and you need to be doing that anywhere from a year out down to your 45-day window when you start applying for jobs, or if you're already out, hey, you really need to be doing them, because it gives you that inside view into the company, their culture, um, and when you start working with people that are doing your job, or the hiring managers of the specific job that you want to do, it gives you a very good look, because you can see how how their cultural fit is. Because if you don't present yourself as a cultural fit for that company, they will not hire you. And two, you can kind of get a sense of you know how the job's done, and you can start asking specifics about what are the written job requirements. And a lot of times there's a lot of unwritten job requirements. They will have stuff in their head that they want, but they won't list in a job description. I constantly found that out by going and asking for informational interviews, uh, like the state. I would ask Anne, or I'd ask Leilani, one of the HR people. Hey, I would love to have sit down, have coffee with one of your IT folks, kind of talk to them, kind of pick their brain, and you know people are willing to help you out. They'll reach out to one of their contacts that they know and set it up for you, and stuff like that. Or speak to recruiters, or reach out to other people, ask them for coffee, that are in this area off of LinkedIn, kind of build a relationship with them. Now, another way that was extremely helpful for me is find a mentor. Find a mentor in the civilian world. There's a lot of agencies out there that are specifically mentorship programs for veterans transitioning out of the military. One of the great ones is called Boots to Shoes. I'll actually type it down here in the chat window for you guys. Boots to Shoes. It's a program that was started by a Marine Corps veteran. Well, there's no such thing as Marine veterans. They're once a Marine, always a Marine. But her name is Patricia. I can't remember her last name right now, but she started this program, and it is 100% free. It's all ran off of donations, charity events, everything else. And they have a pretty good sized group of volunteers that will mentor you for 6 months, and they match you up on your job experience, what kind of job you're seeking, your experience level. I actually got linked up with a security engineer at Microsoft. He was a great guy about every 2-3 weeks, I'd drive up to Microsoft, have lunch with them. We'd go over, what my job goals were, my experience, how I could translate it, stuff like that, and kind of help me a little bit with my resume. But it wasn't, that great of help. Now, if you really do have that much trouble with your resume, there's many ways you can do your resume. And what Nilesh's idea was great, sitting down with a buddy and having them kind of interview you and write out questions about your achievements. Tell me about a time when you did this. Tell me about a time when, you had an awesome project, or, what are you most proud of? Stuff like that. That will really help you. And if that fails, you could do the same thing I did. I actually went through and found a service. I had my base resume. And Nilesh, if you want to give me presenting again, I'll actually show the two different resumes that I have, and kind of show you the difference of resumes and how much of a difference it makes.
I think you can start presenting by sharing your desktop button.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Share screen. Alrighty. So you guys can see my screen. So this is one of my very first resumes. Very basic. I've got my contact information. One of the HR recruiters actually kind of typed this up for me. Key competencies is what she called it. Kind of just a very broad overview. And then you come down here, I've got my education, my certifications. Now, you see this, and it's literally just blocked paragraph of my experience. And it's not very specific, not very detailed. And I got interviews with it. It's a bad resume, but people were still able to see value in it, in my experience and stuff like that. And I was able to get, interviews, but I didn't get the kind of interviews that I wanted. They were most of the time either very small companies or lower end jobs than what it should be. Now, here is the resume that I worked with a company, actually with a guy at a company that does it as a service. And you can see the difference. I've got a little verbiage, kind of my key highlights, my, not really achievements, but, my higher level of what I've done, kind of the buzzwords or core competencies. And then this is the same exact thing that's in my profile, but or very close to it. But you can see the difference. And with this resume, I have gotten probably 4 or 5 times the amount of interviews, the amount of feedback, people, recruiters actually calling me back after I submit a job application, HR screening, stuff like that, and it just doesn't get lost in that black hole. So having your profile set up correctly will make a world of a difference. And if you have the money and you're having that much trouble with setting it up, because it truly will make that much of a difference. It's the difference between a $40,000 job and a $70,000 job. This is your ticket to your job. Truly, it is. So there's the services out there. If you truly have that much trouble with writing your resume, writing your cover letter, writing your LinkedIn profile, I think I paid $300 for my LinkedIn profile, for my cover letter, and for my resume, and it was well worth it. If you think about how much I spent, it was less than 0.5% of my annual pay. So that's one school of thought that you can choose.
Hey,
So
hey, Brandon. I think
Yeah.
this before we get to identifying a service provider and all that, I think the first
Oh
step,
no, no.
totally, let's do that. First step is just find a buddy, write it down like you have. And I think there is value in finding a service provider. I'm not saying that we should not. Uh, these service providers are really good. Some of them are really, really good. And it is totally a good idea if you want that service. But I think the first really beginning step is do your homework. Speak it out loud in a tape recorder or some kind of iPhone voice recorder, and speak the whole thing that you comes to mind, without even thinking second time about it. Speak it, and then play it back. See what you heard yourself saying. Do that same exercise with a buddy, and have them listen to what you're saying, and have them take notes diligently. And please make sure to reciprocate the favor. So do the same thing for them, and they do it for you. And the moment you have a buddy to do it with you, they will give you perspectives and insights and clues into what you think you have done in terms of crystallized stories that they will write for you, and you write for their resume, and they write for your resume. It's you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and make both happy. That's the idea. That's the way we succeed. And that's how, I recommend beginning as the first step. Very first step is find a buddy and just begin doing, and use me as your buddy. I'm your buddy. I'm not, as I said in the class, I'm not a cop. I'm not going to police you as to whether you're doing this or that or not, but I'm your buddy. I'm your friend to help you, and I don't charge you. You know that already. So just make use of, you have me there. I'm not just a cloud computing technology person. I run business. This is my business, and I have found jobs, and I can help you do that and give you another perspective when it comes to writing, when it comes to job finding and profiles and LinkedIn and resumes and stories. It is a very, very subjective topic. I can be right, I can be wrong. Nobody really understands what works, what really works out, because it's all at the end of the day, the hiring managers and you, how you communicate with each other, and whether they like you or not. That's really boils down to whether you get a job or not. Anybody else that comes in the play will have their own perspective, whether they have their own opinion. It's a subjective opinion by definition. So now there is no such thing as right or wrong here. It's their point of view versus your point of view, and you should do what you think is right. And I think you will succeed. I know you will succeed. But you have to do work, and you have to help other people in the class, outside the class. Find a buddy, do it for them, they do it for you, reciprocate, share, and make it happen. That's how I see it. And of course, if you need help, find some specialized help like Brandon did, and you can, of course, make use of that.
Yeah. And even with going to a service provider, you need to have your, base resume already created. Because if you don't have the building blocks there, they really can't give you that great of a project or that great of a product. So I mean, as you see, I already had a base resume and it was working. I wanted to polish it up more, so that was the option I chose. I'm not saying it's the best option. I'm not saying it's the option you need to take or the option you should take. It's just an option. But yeah, like Nilesh said, you need to have the groundwork completed, because if you do go with that route, if you don't have it already written out, you're going to have a lacking product. So do yourself the favor, do the base work. And that's a great idea, Nilesh. I've never heard of, kind of sharing your stories with somebody else and having them write about you. That's actually a really creative way to do it. And it gets you talking about yourself. And when they start asking questions, you kind of ask questions to the person who's telling you stuff, that kind of act like you don't understand. Well, explain this to me. Well, how did you make it better? Stuff like that. And that's where you're really going to pull out your accomplishments and really show your value above the person next to you. And that's honestly, that's what the game is all about. When you submit a resume, you need to show value, that you can produce more value, than the guy next to you, basically. And, if you can't prove that you're going to come in and be of value and, make that company money, they're not going to hire you. Anybody can come in and just do the job, mediocre. But if you can come in and do the job well and make the company money, then they're going to want you, and then they're going to hire you and give you that offer letter.
So I think we should, issue an assignment, homework assignment. Prepare your first draft resume and find a buddy. That's, I think, the first assignment I want to issue in the class. Is give it to everybody. Prepare your resume and just find a buddy. That's it. And do that
Yeah.
in the next 2 3 days. Write whatever you think is your resume and identify and lock down just one buddy to work with. And then the next assignment will become, of course, tell your stories to your buddy and have your buddy do it for you and reciprocate. So make it reciprocal. And you don't have to have the same person reciprocating for you. You can, like, in a big class like 20, you can, go. It doesn't have to be A reciprocating to B and B to A. It can go A to B, B to C, C to A, things like that. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it can be cross group across the group, but make sure you find a partner that will help you and a partner you will help. And across the big class we have, and as long as we have all the ducks in row, we want to give an assignment, an homework assignment, to prepare your resume, identify a buddy, and step by step tell them your stories, have them listen to your stories and write them up for you in form of a resume. So if somebody else writes your resume, it becomes very objective. If you start writing, I know you will struggle. And I know I struggle also. There's nothing wrong with it. That's how people are. They don't naturally write about yourself unless you're used to writing like about yourself all the time. It's hard. And so just speak your mind, let people listen, let your buddy listen, write them down, have them write down for you, and you listen to somebody else and write it for them and finish that next assignment, and then start cleaning up, start polishing, start aligning how what your stories are, and being able to tell them verbally through actions, through resume, through LinkedIn, and then go nail that job, and it will happen. I trust me, it will happen. We'll make it happen with you. That's how I see it. And with that, I want to ask you if there are any further questions. Or I will like to pause the recording here at this moment, and then open up again for any other topics that we might have.
Okay, I do have one question, Alesh, that kind of stems for this. Now, with, after this class and seeking, jobs or, careers within cloud computing, what are some of the job titles or, kind of industry titles that one could start looking for to be relevant to, from experience from this class and, working with cloud computing, either Amazon Web Services or Salesforce or, one of those other
Right.
ones.
So I will do searches for you and give you examples of what skills will match to currently available open positions in the LinkedIn job market. I think
Okay.
that's the most
Yeah, because I
relevant. So
think
we'll.
that'll help them target their resumes, and
Mhm.
I actually need to do that myself because I mean that's why we're in this class,
Yep.
to gain experience and possibly change career fields.
Yes. And so let's do that live with real jobs as opposed to like random made up titles which have no meaning,
Yes.
right? Made up titles do not have any meaning, unless there is a concrete job with a particular position, open position that you target. And then you look at what the requirements from that job are, and you look at your inventory of skills that you have and see if you match up. That becomes a good target. I can throw out random titles at you, but it doesn't have any meaning to it. Like, okay, show me the job, where it is, which company, what time, when did the interviews start?
Yeah.
That all of that is important. So that's the reason I don't throw random titles at you, because it's really irrelevant. Doesn't have any no meat there. So I would rather do a LinkedIn search for jobs with you and show you, here is a job, and see what skills they ask for, see what skills we are targeting in the class, see what you already have, see what you're missing, and fill them up, bridge the gap, and nail it. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a great idea for the class.
Yep.
It'd definitely help me out, and I'm sure it'll help them out.
Yep. Let's do that. Maybe in smaller groups. Maybe come early at say 4:35 in the RP6 building, and focus some time just on this activity. Yeah, I want to become available. I'm already available early on in RP6. So if you want to come sit with me and we'll do some specific work just on focus on job search, I think it's a good idea. I can come even earlier than 4 if you want, depending on what your availability is. You can always send me an email, in small groups of 2 or 3 or 5, whatever that size is. You can book a room in RP6 and nail down this specific work item. And of course, start the class at 5:30 as planned.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Absolutely. So let me now stop recording. I want to thank you, and I'll stand by on Fuse, but just the recording portion I'm stopping because otherwise the recording becomes too long and kind of boring. So give me a sec. You can continue talking.